I want to show you a strategy that not a lot of e-commerce brands are utilizing at the moment to drive profitability into their company, especially during these crazy economic times. If it's your first time seeing one of my videos, my name is Devin Merklin. I was the CMO of a health and wellness e-commerce brand that we grew from $0 to over $50 million in revenue in less than 4 years. It landed us on Inc. 5000's, one of the fastest growing companies. Now I am the founder of Xscale, which is all about being your growth partner, helping e-commerce brands grow profitably. All right, so a lot of e-commerce brands at the moment are in high water, especially during these economic times. At the time of me recording this, there's announcements of tariffs on China going up to over 245%, which is absolutely wild, especially if you're in e-commerce or in drop shipping and part of your manufacturing is over in China, or maybe you get your entire product over from China. You're facing a huge price hike on your actual materials or your products that you're bringing into the States. Look, I actually own an e-commerce brand that we source 100% of the product from China, and we have actually seen a huge shift in sales, even though we didn't increase prices, we didn't do anything. But just the fear in the economy shifted our sales dramatically, and we're starting to see a bounce back utilizing one of these strategies. And within Xscale, I talked to a lot of e-commerce brands, and a lot of those brands do source their entire product or some of their products or pieces of their products from China, and it's causing a lot of fear. They're talking about two things. They're talking about increasing prices, or they're talking about cutting costs. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with increasing prices or cutting costs, but doing so out of fear and doing so dramatically without a plan in order can drastically hurt you, especially during this wave of things happening in our economy. Imagine tariffs come down tomorrow. Now you're going to be positioned with a really expensive product and maybe an understaffed team because you wanted to cut costs, operating expenses, and you wanted to raise prices. Now you're kind of left in the marketplace as an overpriced product and an understaffed team. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to be that dramatic. I was using that as a hyperbolic, but you don't want to react based on what's happening so quickly and so aggressively. There's a fine balance between the two. Like I mentioned, there's nothing wrong with increasing prices, but there needs to be a strategy behind it. There's nothing wrong with cutting prices. That's what we all want to do on a regular basis, which is try to figure out how to cut our costs, try to figure out how to raise our prices a little bit. But doing so out of fear and going in the direction that everybody else is going usually isn't the answer. If everybody else is talking about raising prices and cutting costs, we probably want to look in the other direction, or at least look towards other opportunities that might be presenting themselves during these crazy economic times. So let's not rely just on cutting costs or raising prices. There is cool strategies that you can do to raise prices, like price hikes and things of that nature, but let's not rely on that. Let's think a little bit more creatively. And the strategy that I'm going to be talking about, I've been doing for years with multiple companies, and driving more profitable growth within the company without having to increase prices or cut costs. It's actually very unique, and a lot of e-commerce brands out there can actually do this today, whether the economic times are crazy or not. You can still implement this strategy to help drive a little bit more profitability into your company. I absolutely love this strategy, and I can't think of an e-commerce brand that wouldn't be able to implement this off the top of my head. I'm sure there's one or two out there, but a lot of brands, if you're able to think creatively, you can do this. And that's just creating digital products. Now, I don't want you to hear that and say, whoa, that's so simple, like blah, blah, like I've tried that, it doesn't work. I want you to hear that as, hey, there's a creative way to do this and to position it within your brand. That way you can help drive more profitability. If you're out there and you've created a digital product and you try to run ads to it, maybe you've looked at like Russell Brunson, or you looked at software companies and you're trying to drive all this traffic and market it heavily. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about creating a digital product that's almost an additive to your brand. So health and wellness companies, they have a great opportunity to do this. So if you're in the market and you're selling supplements, any kind of physical product that has to do with like physical ailments, maybe you're selling gym equipment, or maybe one of those weird categories within the health and wellness field, you have an amazing opportunity. You've got things like recipe guides that you can create. People love these. You've got workouts that you can create. You've got wellness programs that you can create. And these things don't need to be your top of funnel strategy. You don't need to drive a bunch of traffic to this. All you're doing is creating a product that has a really low overhead and a high profitability margin, and trying to get your current audience or your current customers to adopt it. And you don't need to drive, a heavy sale to this or heavy promotion to this. Maybe it's very small things like bundling it together with your physical product, or maybe your supplement, or maybe your food or drink, or maybe it's a nice little order bump on the checkout. Hey, grab this recipe guide for $7. Or maybe it's a post-purchase activity, or maybe you're selling an entire membership to your wellness program or membership area on a one-click post-purchase upsell. There's a lot of different opportunities to couple this in, but what I would say right now is do not go create a digital product and then expect to run a bunch of cold traffic to it. Try and position it and go through multiple iterations. One recipe guide might do it. Maybe you need a couple 5 recipe guides or whatever it might be, and sell it to your current audience in creative ways, not just driving traffic to that product and assuming that it's going to work. I've tried this in the past. I've done things like master classes and trainings and different kinds of events. Some of them work really well when you have them at top of funnel. Some of them suck and you can't really breathe life into them. It takes a lot of effort to breathe that life into them to get them to work at top of funnel. So what I would suggest to you is creating a digital product that you can couple with your actual physical products, and that it doesn't make it weird for the consumer. It's just a no-brainer of, oh yeah, I want to grab this product plus this physical or this digital product as a bundle, because it makes perfect sense. I'm going to be utilizing this supplement and for my immune health, and this is an immunity guide. So let me couple these two together, and that makes perfect sense to me. And the amazing thing is, you're raising your prices without actually raising your prices. So if you're selling this bottle of immunity or whatever it is, vitamin D, vitamin C, whatever it is, for $20, and then you add this guide in, positioning at, hey, this is usually worth $20. Today you can grab it for $3 extra. So you just raised your prices $3 from taking that supplement from 20 to 23 or whatever it might be, whatever prices or margins make the most sense for you, right? You just raised the price of your product without actually raising the price of your product. You just added more value to that initial purchase. And I'd be very interested to test coupling those products together and then selling them separately. So if somebody comes to your website and you have a super high conversion rate and you're not wanting to risk trying to bundle those products together, just sell that physical product and then try and sell that digital product on the checkout order bump or the post purchase. Now you're probably thinking like, oh yeah, that's really easy to do in health and wellness. There's so many different opportunities, but let me go to the total other side of the spectrum. Another niche that I love playing in is automotive. Now automotive, it's a little bit more tricky. You have really high cost and high priced products somewhere up between, I've seen $250 to thousands of dollars is usually probably the average cost of like an automotive part, for example. And you're probably thinking, what are the digital product opportunities that I can do here? Now, you just got to think creatively. What I'm about to tell you isn't the end all be all, but obviously somebody needs to buy that product and then install it on their vehicle. Well, maybe creating tutorial videos or a tutorial membership area on how to install that. Or maybe it's creating just a PDF guide of that install, or maybe it's creating a build guide, because I'm a car guy and car guys love builds. So even though that they bought this one product, maybe you also give them a full build guide to transform their Honda Civic into this base Honda Civic into this crazy souped up Honda Civic. And when you buy this product, you get this PDF for $5 or whatever that shows you all the build, and maybe you get some kind of special discount or whatever with it, right? Just thinking creatively. But the number one thing that I would say for automotive brands is creating a membership area. I know as a car guy, it's kind of like in business and entrepreneurship. You're kind of like alone in the world. You're on the streets with all these normal cars, and you're the one car guy that's got the loud exhaust or the flames or whatever. And it's a bit of a loner activity. It's not really a team sport, I guess you could say. So creating a membership area where all the car guys can nerd out on, this is my Subaru, check it out, I installed these wheels. That can go a long way for your audience. So creating a membership area might be a really good opportunity for automotive. The other amazing benefit of going down this route and creating digital products during these economic times, yes, we're doing it to try increase profitability, but honestly, in the buyer journey, it is the very first step to somebody adopting a brand, right? So when we're scouring the internet and looking for things, we're usually looking for answers or information. And you can remember this in this way, this acronym, IAS: information, the application of information, and then supplementation. It's often the first step in the buyer journey where they're just sourcing information or they're looking for answers. And that's where your brand comes in. Oftentimes you can put the product right there and they purchase, but we all know that's a hard conversion rate. It's really easy to get somebody on a low barrier of entry, getting them some information that helps build a little bit of trust with you. I got this information from this source, therefore I trust this source a little bit more, because now if you can get them that information and get them a result, application of information, now they really start to trust you and they're more willing to buy your products on an ongoing basis. That's for another video, but this is a great way to take advantage of the current economic times, but then to also position yourself as a company for the long term, because you didn't raise prices astronomically, you didn't cut all your costs, leaving you kind of oddly positioned when things start to blow over, or when things start to blow over and tariffs drop back down to the floor, or whatever might happen, right? Now you actually have a strategy in place that is built for the long term, but also benefits you in the short term. Now, if you remember in the beginning, I was talking about everybody going in this direction. Now, what I've heard from multiple brand owners is that increase in prices, and I've even seen this where brand owners are increasing prices and they're trying to cut costs. Everybody is going to be thinking in this direction. Now, if I've learned one thing, if everybody's thinking in this direction, there's a little bit of truth to it, but that's not our area of opportunity. Our area of opportunity is going in a different direction. So hopefully this gives you the tools to start thinking creatively in a different direction and not reacting based off of fear of what's happening in our economy, because it's things that we can't control. The one thing that we don't want to do is do what everybody else is doing. There's some truth to it. Understand it. Maybe there's a little bit of things that you can gather from it, from like maybe raising your prices a little bit, but we don't want to overextend into the side of things. We want to be looking in a different direction, because that's the area of opportunity. Because as things come back around, because everything's cyclical as they do, you're going to be positioned in the right place in the marketplace. If you go too far in this direction and you raise your prices astronomically and everything comes back down, now you're going to be left with, like I mentioned, overpriced product in a marketplace that isn't ready to adopt an overpriced product, right? So you want to maintain that as much as possible, maintain your branding and think creatively for the long term, not just be reactive based on what's happening in the short term. Sum all this up, go look at the different opportunities that you have in your specific brand, your specific niche as it pertains to e-commerce, and how you can craft a high margin digital product that adds extreme value to your customers. This is going to go a long way, and it needs to be good. You can't just throw some stuff in Canva and then sell it. That's not good for anybody. It needs to actually be good. That's what's going to weather the storm over a long period of time, and that's what's going to make people want to actually buy it in the first place. Think about it. They're essentially buying air. It's a hard sell, and that's why I'm saying at the very beginning, don't go so far in one direction and try and sell this at the top of funnel. Try and couple this with your current audience, your current customer base, because they would be more willing to adopt it because they already trust you. If you found this valuable and you want to adopt this strategy, drop me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Give me a thumbs up, whatever, anything to let me know that this was actual valuable piece of content. That way I can always reiterate and build upon this and give you guys more strategies that actually help you grow your e-commerce brands over time. Until next time, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'll catch you on the next one.